We've made it to week number 3, and we've made it to episode 3 of season number 3 of the weekly Gridiron podcast. As always, we are your hosts, Adam.
Dante.
And Luke.
Happy to have you along with us as always. Week 2 was very interesting. I think it was what a lot of us thought week 1 would be.
Yeah.
A lot of upsets, which we'll get into.
True.
But let's not waste any time. Let's get it started with last week's fantasy football leaders. As always, the top 10, which I started last week. Thank you, Dante, for putting up the beautiful graphic I put together before my 1:25 p.m. class this afternoon, which ended shockingly early. So I was very happy about that. We have our first tie for a position this week, but we still have top 10, but it'll be 11 guys. So tied for number 10 with 24.7 points, we have Chris Godwin's performance against the Lions and Calvin Ridley's performance against the Jets. Number 9 with 26 points, we have Devontae Adams' performance against the Ravens. And number 8, we have Nico Collins against the Bears on Sunday Night Football, 27.5 points. Number 7, we have James Cook, 28.5 points against the Dolphins on Thursday Night Football. Number 6, the guy on the screen right now, Kyler Murray, had 28.54 against the Rams. Number 5, the first of 2 rookies on this week's list, Malik Neighbors of the Giants, had 28.7 points against the Washington Commanders. Number 4, sorry for this one, Luke, DK Metcalf had 28.9 points against the New England Patriots, which I guess he was guarded by Christian Gonzalez for most of that game, correct?
Sorry about that. On Christian Gonzalez, he had 5 targets for 3 catches and 5 yards, or 2 catches. Twitter heads will point to that 40-something yard touchdown DK Metcalf scored. Was Christian Gonzalez on him? Yes. Was it Christian Gonzalez's fault? No. There was supposed to be a safety playing help, and there wasn't. And so it was a miscommunication.
Fair enough. But anyways, going on, number 3, our second of the 2 rookies, and I was very happy with this one. Marvin Harrison Jr. finally shows the NFL why he was the first wide receiver taken in last year's draft with 29 fantasy points against the Rams. And then your top 2, both running backs, Devon Achane against the Buffalo Bills, 29.5 points, and crazy separation for himself as number 1 this week with 44 points against the Cowboys. Alvin Kamara. Yeah, I've got to apologize to a certain fan base. We'll get into that when we get there. But yeah. But all right, those are your fantasy leaders this week. Props to you guys if you had any of those guys in your lineup. And those are also all the first appearance for those guys so far this year. No repeats from week 1. At least I don't. Let me see. No repeats. All new guys.
Jeez.
We have some teams with more than one guy making the list now, but these guys who made it this week, this was all their first appearance of the year. Probably not their last. So,
yeah.
Okay. Shall we get into week 3? We will. Luke, why don't you start us off, man?
Yeah, let's just go right for it. I said last week, if the Patriots beat the Seahawks, I was going to pick them in this game, and I meant it. I also meant that if they didn't, I wouldn't, and I'm picking the Jets. I'm not thrilled to do so. I do think we have a chance in this game. MetLife is just practically Gillette Stadium B, or at least it has been for a long time. But it's a new time, and we have to see. I have to see. This is like, no offense, but can Ryan Day beat Michigan? Can Gerard Mayo beat the Jets? We got to see. And on paper, they're a much better team than us. And we held in there with the Seahawks, so I think they're going to be better than I assumed they would be this year. But it wasn't enough. It was a good first half. The defense was playing well. Offense was moving. Still no turnovers through 2 games, which you like to see, but it was a lot of the, no offense to you either, Dante, it was a lot of the Steelers type of no turnovers, right? Conservative, a lot of 3rd and longs and a lot of running. To the point that we only had 3 completions to wide receivers in the entire game. Only 3. And the rest went to Hunter Henry, basically, or the running game, which was fine, but When the second half came, they had figured out our offense. We couldn't slow down their defense enough. Now with some injuries, Juwan Bentley out for the whole year. It's going to be rough again a little bit. Keon White is a third in the NFL in sacks. That's a positive. But with Jacoby Brissett up there, there was just not enough upside on offense to win a game against one of the better defenses in the league. So I have to go with the Jets reluctantly.
All right.
Dante, why don't you go?
Yeah. I think this game is going to be competitive as all, I guess, divisional matchups are around the NFL. I guess except for like the AFC West. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Jets here as well. Um, New England kept it close. They were playing much better ball than people expected them to. Um, and I feel like the Jets are kind of playing not as well as people expected them to. That's why I think this game's gonna be close, but at MetLife, home crowd, I think the Jets are gonna get it done.
Well, I've been going with my heart and my gut for a lot of picks this year, and me being down in the standings for our beloved podcast tells me I need to go with my gut for some picks this week. So, Luke, I'm sorry. I'm going to go with the
Fair
Jets.
enough.
But the reason I said I wasn't sure before this episode was I thought you could have picked the Patriots, but I respect you for not. It was just a toss up for that reason. I think it's still going to be a very interesting game. We could all definitely be wrong. And Luke, I'm sure you would be happy with being wrong. But
I'd be happy to be wrong, but I don't have a ton of hope for the offense until Drake May gets in. And I sung some praises last week for Jacoby Brissett, but it's not like, well, he's quite a firecracker. He could pop off on a random 6 minute, 75-yard drive and lead us into halftime up two with the ball. That's not kind of what you're going to hope for. You're just going to kind of hope for him to keep you in the game. And look, I got no problem with Drake May sitting. He right now is tied for the most passing touchdowns with all the rookie QBs. I got no problem with Drake May sitting. But it's going to take us out of games a bit just because the talent isn't on the field. The talent's on the sideline. The veteran presence is on the field, which is going to keep us in games. But games like this, I'd love to be proven wrong, but I don't really see it. I see a very, very narrow path that we'll probably miss.
okay, let's move on. Sunday night, 1 p.m. or Sunday, 1 p.m. slate. Not to Sunday night yet, Adam. That's okay though. We're starting off with the Giants and the Browns on Sunday. I do know who I'm going with this one, so I guess I'll start. The Browns, to me, I don't know what to think of them yet. They looked pretty bad in week one. They didn't look great last week, but they still were able to beat Jacksonville. That being said, they're going up against one of the worst teams in the league this week. I think this could be a get back game for the Browns, could be the momentum win that they need to be a little better. So I'll go Cleveland, especially since they're at home for this game. I'll take the Browns.
Cool.
How about you, Dante? I'm a little bit. Yeah, how about you, Dante? With this one?
Cleveland. Now this is the beginning of Cleveland's Mickey Mouse schedule. Um, yeah, they'll win this game, and they're going to be jumping for joy after they do it. But that's Cleveland for you. They don't know how to handle success because there's been such little success in that franchise's history. So, but I'm going with the Browns.
You might have been like, really? I wanted to deflect this on you because I was thinking about it, but this is my upset of the week. Giants put up
Okay.
3 touchdowns on the Commanders' defense. I think the Commanders might be a better team than the Browns. All it's going to take is to halt the Browns' defense a little bit. Devin Singletary was reliable enough last week. They had 3 touchdowns, and they didn't allow a touchdown and still lost. I know, but this feels like it's going to be a bit of a coaching battle, and it's just one of those games where this might not make sense, but for me, it's just one of those games where I'm going to easily pick the Browns. I'm not going to watch this game. Then I'm going to look at 4 o'clock and the NFL posted, what the heck? The Browns lost 21-10. Like, how did that happen? So I'm going out on a limb for the Giants, and I'm claiming my upset of the week very early.
Luke, if the Giants beat the Browns, you have no idea how amped I would be and how much I would laugh. I don't care if the Steelers lose their game this week. If the Giants beat the Browns, dude, that's my Super Bowl.
So let me put it that way: would you lose if the Browns lost?
Like, would I
If
sacrifice the Steelers losing
yes,
for the Browns to lose? Probably. Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
for a game like this, yeah, I can see why.
That'd be so funny. Anyway,
We'll see.
All right.
This is another tough one, and I didn't think it would have to be.
Yeah. Eagles and Saints. I would say both teams are undefeated, but the Eagles, we know what happened to them on Monday.
Yep.
It's tough. Dante, you said you know who you're going with.
yeah,
Why don't you start?
I'm gonna go Philly. I don't feel confident in that at all, but I already know. I feel like I'm gonna be wrong, but I'm sticking by my gut. I'm going Philadelphia. However, I got to give the Saints their props. They've had 15 offensive drives and have scored a touchdown on all 15.
I think that streak might have ended, but that was the start of their
Oh,
season. I
oh,
think.
my mistake. They had 15 straight drives to start the season where they scored a touchdown. Either way, that's impressive. Like,
Yeah, I think that's correct. Yeah,
if that's the stat, which I'm quite certain it
it's
is.
either that or they at least scored something on every drive.
Something, yeah.
Yeah,
But
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 yeah,
regardless, their offense is playing out of their mind.
yeah,
Right now, they're the best offense in football, not on paper, but playing like it.
yeah.
Uh, but I'm not on the train yet, I guess. I don't know. I think Philly's the better team. And even though all signs of the way these two teams are playing should tell me to pick the Saints, I'm going with the Eagles. I don't know. It's just my gut feeling.
Adam, do you have a thought?
Yes, and I hate it. I'm going with the Saints.
All
Listen,
right.
Saints fans, Saints fan base, Saints overall. I gotta apologize for last week. I was a little harsh and I was wrong. You guys are good. I'll give you your credit. Going into Dallas and doing what you did, Alvin Kamara with 4 touchdowns. Derek Carr. Apparently, I've heard Derek Carr plays really well in election years. I don't know if that's a coincidence or I don't know if he's just having a really good season. But I will give Derek Carr and the Saints overall their props. They really proved me wrong, and they're gonna make me pick them over Philly. So that's just the way we're going. That's what I think, especially because they're at home. I really think they're gonna win.
Adam, you know what the most Saints thing
Three
to
and
do would
zero.
be? Adam, you
Which
know what the most Saints thing to do would be is they reel you into pick 'em and then they lose. That would be the most Saints thing.
that could happen, but I'm going off what I have right now, and
That's valid.
I don't like it. I think the Saints are gonna be 3-0.
Have
That's
you?
just crazy.
Jeez.
Yeah, I will not deny them. I watched that whole game a night or two ago. Eagles, Falcons Monday night. I fell asleep. I the offenses on both sides, but the collapse at the end for the Eagles, it was boring. It was not fun to watch. I'm not an Eagles fan, but it was just what was just not good football. I could have told you a play or two before it happened that this game is just going to end with a pick or something, and it did, and it was uninspiring. And so I'm not going to hold on to what you're supposed to think as far as well. The Eagles should be good, and the Saints. Where is this coming from? I'm just going to abandon that and refuse to deny what I've seen. The Saints offense is as high powered as I've ever seen an offense the past couple of years. And I'm with all of you that if nothing else is unsustainable. But any 2-3 week little section of the year, a lot can happen. And it's hard to deny what they're doing right now.
Sure.
So you're going with the Saints, Luke?
I am, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Texans and Vikings. Not the game I expected to be 2-0 versus 2-0, but here we are.
Yeah.
One side,
Stay.
maybe one side, but
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think we
okay.
all
I
expected
expected.
Chiefs to be 2-0.
yeah,
Gotta give Sam Darnold his props though. He's looked good.
Panthers legend.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Everybody's expected MVP podium. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr, and I feel like I'm missing someone. Maybe not. Yeah.
Justin Fields.
Who's that other quarterback? There's some meme I saw about, it's gonna bug me, but there was like a group of 3 quarterbacks, and Derek Carr wasn't even one of them, but now you can throw him up there. It's absurd what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, we have a elite quarterback matchup here. What do you guys think?
I know where I'm going, so I go first.
Yeah, me too, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
go for it.
Another team that has played well but hasn't really sold me, the Vikings. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Houston here. I do think Sam Darnold, he's played good football. And I saw someone say this could be like a Baker Mayfield situation where, you put the guy in the right system and he succeeds. That could be Sam Darnold. We shall see. It is only week 3, but I'm going to go with what I know. And I know the Texans are a good football team. And I feel like they should take care of business here. And yeah, D'Amico Ryans will have this team ready. So I'm going to go with Houston.
All right, Adam, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll go next. I'm with Dante. I'm gonna give props to the Vikings for how good they've been to start, but I definitely do need to see more. And that being said, I will also be going with the Houston Texans to win this game.
This is gonna be sweep. Um, I like Sam Darnold. I like the Vikings. They were one time in consideration for a new team that I like, but I ended up not really adding one because I still like the Cardinals a good bit. So I do hope that this isn't a fluke, and I don't think it really is. Although I do think it's not like he's about to win the starting job after they just spent a first round pick on quarterback who they like. But I like what's happening in Minnesota, but I don't like it quite that much. Um, the Texans are going to be rather undeniable this year. There I go using that word again, but like you said, they're well coached. You can't leave a single person open on that offense, and they have one of the toughest defenses in the league as well. So even on the road here, I think it's a pretty sure bet. It's not going to be my lock of the week, but I'm gonna roll with the Texans. Excuse me.
Cool.
All right. Speaking of locks of the week, I'll get it started. This will be my lock of the week. I'm going to take the Buccaneers over the Broncos. Baker Mayfield has looked really good. Believe it or not, he's the #1 quarterback in fantasy football right now. Not what I expected, but hey, shout out Baker.
Just like everybody predicted.
Yeah. Broncos made it close last week, but I don't know. Bo Nix hasn't looked like he did in the preseason. I need to see more. And Tampa Bay has just been on a roll so far. So this one's easy for me. Buccaneers.
Cool. Look, I feel like we're going the same place.
We are all going the same place.
Go.
Surely. Buccaneers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty-
Yeah. The Broncos suck ass and Sean Payton's a clown. So I'm gonna go with the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm glad someone said it.
Yeah.
You got to say the quiet part out loud.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, the Broncos almost could not look worse, and the Bucks almost could not look better. So this is another one where, don't overthink it.
Sean Payton could have been the man responsible for saving Justin Herbert if he just would have waited one more year. But nope.
Yeah, well, I think they have a good match there, anyways. So
Yeah.
All right. Now, for this game, for added context, Jordan Love was back to practicing today.
Oh.
I do not think that means he's playing. Keep in mind, Malik Willis just beat the Colts. So I can start. I am also going. I'll go Packers again. Although I think that this is finally a chance for Will Levis to pause his generational run of ridiculous turnovers. Like in the week 1, it was that pick, and then he fell to his knees, and then week 2, it was a diving shuffle pass backwards. It didn't even make it there, and it was a fumble. And his coach even had to ask, "What the f are you doing?" And so I think he will start to figure it out this game, but I don't know if they're going to actually be able to win. It seems like they're very reliant on Calvin Ridley right now, and he's not the best of the best at all. And I think that the Packers are much better coached and will be ready to go into Tennessee and win this game.
Cool.
Dante.
I thought I was going to be the only one picking the Packers this week, but I'm going with Green Bay, regardless of who starts at quarterback. I think I trust Matt LaFleur way more than I trust anybody. Got Brian Callahan, is that his name?
Yeah.
Head coach of the Titans. I trust LaFleur way more to have a better game plan. He's going to make things really easy on Malik Willis like he did last week. Maybe even open up the playbook more now that he's more familiar with the team and the game plan they're going to run. But yeah, I'm going to take Green Bay here. I just trust them way more, and I trust their defense specifically. I think they're going to shut down that Titan offense and make things hard on Will Levis. So yeah, Green Bay.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know what direction to go in. This is like my hardest game for some reason. Screw it. Upset of the week. Tennessee Titans. I'm doing it.
I
Look,
honestly wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee won this game.
Neither would I really, but
I mean, I picked them against the Jets last week. They almost won. The Titans almost won in week 1, I'm pretty sure. Who did the Titans play in week 1? It was the Bears. Yeah, and they blew that big lead. It's not like they're playing bad. They're 0-2, but they've had back-to-back weeks where one mistake has just cost them the game. And if they don't make that mistake, they can win. Bless you. Calvin Ridley's playing good. Will Levis is okay, I guess. Maybe this is the week Will Levis has a good game. I think it will be. So, upset of the week. Let's do it.
all right.
Let me write that down real quick.
Okay. This is a bit of an interesting game.
Very interesting.
On one hand, Caleb Williams, who has been struggling, but on the other hand, Anthony Richardson, who somehow looks more raw than he did last year. I want
Yeah,
to see what you guys say about this.
this is the toughest game to predict for me this week. But I think I have my answer, and I'm not very confident in it. If you want me to go, I can.
Yeah, if you have your answer, because I'm not sure either.
I'm gonna go Chicago. Originally, I was thinking Indy, but like Luke said, Anthony Richardson has looked, more rookie-like than he's ever looked. And I don't know. I think the Bears are just a better team on paper. So whenever it's really split like that, that's normally where I go, which team has the better players. And I honestly think that's the Bears. Though it would not surprise me at all if Indy won this game. But I'll go with I'll bear down this week, I guess.
What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, like Dante said, this is a toss-up, and really either way, the last 2 games have been that either way I go, I don't feel confident in it. I'll go the Bears as well, I guess. I mean, yeah, I'll go the Bears. I I really want to see Anthony Richardson do well, but that could also happen with the Bears winning the game. It's like Dante said, I think they have the better overall players. They're a better team on paper. I think the Bears defense is going to make a big difference in this game. So, yeah, I'll go Chicago. Why not?
Okay, fair enough. I am fading you guys. I'm going Indy. I believe in Shane Steichen to draw up a game that will not only get his quarterback back on track, but will expose what hasn't been a perfect Chicago defense and will win this game. I think Chicago is not as well coached as they were hoping they would be right now. I mean, that's kind of the worst kept secret, but drafting their new quarterback, bringing in all these weapons, and the defense has always been pretty decent. I think people were hoping things would look really on track. Maybe not by now, but I think it certainly looked a little bit worse than people expected it to. And you could say the same about Indy, but I trust the talent that's there too. I trust guys like A.D. Mitchell to get going. Jonathan Taylor still isn't really broken out yet this season. He didn't. No, he did not leave. So I'm
Mm.
trying to remember. No, they still have Jonathan Taylor. Yeah. AR is doing a really good game. He's way too full of talent, and I think it's going to come this week. And I think they're going to end up being fine. They're certainly having a slow start to the year, both teams, but I trust Indy more than I trust Chicago right now.
Cool.
All
Yeah.
right. Go for it, Tonski.
Yeah. The LA Chargers are coming to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. And the 2-0 Steelers, who came off I wouldn't say unconvincing win against the Broncos. We did have some penalty trouble. Um, but Justin Fields looked pretty solid. He made some very tight throws, specifically one that got called back on a hold by Broderick Jones, where he rolled out and threw one of the most beautiful passes I've ever seen. Sorry, I can't talk. To George
Yeah,
Pickens,
absolutely.
which that was unbelievable. Um, it feels like within the past couple seasons, the Steelers' offense is able to get down the field and potentially score touchdowns, have plays to get them into the red zone and into into a rhythm to have them score, but penalties have really like pulled us back and really haven't allowed us to, score as many points as we should have. And I think this past week is a great example of that, where, George Pickens had a touchdown taken off the board after a holding call. Um, I'm sure I know there was another one, but it's slipping my mind. But realistically, Justin Fields should have had 2 touchdown passes this game. Um, but the whole media is looking at it like, oh, Justin Fields is a game manager and he can't put it in the end zone. It's not his fault, I don't think. I honestly think it's the fresh offensive line and these uh, crippling penalties that have stalled drives for us. Now looking at the Chargers, they came out. Who did the Chargers play last week? I'm sorry, it's blanking in my mind. Adam,
No,
Panthers. That's right,
yeah, yeah.
the Panthers. And once again, no offense, Adam. I think the Chargers haven't really played a good defense yet.
Fair enough.
They played the Raiders with Max Crosby week 1, and Marcus Epps, who's also another good secondary piece for the Raiders. But this is going to be their hardest challenge yet, going on the road in Pittsburgh, playing one of the best defenses in football. I'm going to go with the Steelers here. Sorry, I'm taking so long with this spiel. I'm going with the Steelers here, mainly because the Chargers' running game isn't that good. I mean, not their running game, their run defense isn't anything special. They have struggled. Um, and I think that's what the Steelers are going to do. They're going to run the ball down their throats. However, I think Justin Herbert is going to have a good game, and it's going to be a close one. But this Tomlin Harbaugh matchup, I think Tomlin's going to get it. And so give me the Steelers.
I
Okay.
will admit to being a little bit split. So do you know who you're picking, Adam?
I do.
Go for it.
Um, so the way I look at it, the Chargers offense has been very good so far. I know they haven't played a great defense yet, and I definitely agree the Panthers defense has been pretty bad so far. But I'm looking at that offense. I'm looking at how Justin Herbert's been playing. Specifically, J.K. Dobbins looks like he's having a breakout year. And Dante, I'm sorry, but for that reason, I'm going to go with the Chargers in this game. I also look at it, like you mentioned, with the Chargers facing defenses. The Steelers have kind of faced 2 offenses that were kind of questionable going into the year.
That's
The
valid.
Falcons week 1 and Denver last week. And I think this will be the Steelers defense toughest test. And I'm not going to come out here and say the Chargers are going to blow out the Steelers. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it'll be a close game, but I think in the end, I think LA is going to get it done. And I should add, I believe, is this the Steelers home opener?
Yeah.
They lost the home opener last year. I should add that. But I will say, I don't think it's going to be as bad as last year's home opener. I'd hope not. for Steeler fans' sake. So
We also played San Francisco. I'll just
True.
put that there.
True,
Like,
true. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, this is tough. I'm going the Steelers. I'm going to trust the process of what they've been doing for a long time and what has seemed to work enough this season. And the Chargers have gotten off to a hot start, but they're not going to be that great of a football team. Like, I don't think they're going to be in the playoff picture. They might actually be at like 9-8 or something, but they're going to get some losses around there. And they're not thinking this way, but the Steelers need to start racking up. They need to keep racking up these wins because when it gets to late year, as much as divisional play can get crazy, they're going to need to have some ground to stand on because there are going to be some losses later in that schedule. So with Fields starting again, they just have to stop the run. I think they can do that, and I'm going to Steelers. It can be close though.
oh yeah, it'll be a close game, but yeah, I just think the Steelers just going to run the ball better. That we have a much better run D than the Chargers do,
Yeah,
and
I agree with you.
the Chargers haven't played great running backs, so this is going to be their toughest test. And once again, the Steelers being home also, I think, is a big factor here. And that's
Yeah,
why I'm picking them. But anyway,
yeah,
All right. We have the Dolphins and the Seahawks starting off the 4 p.m. slate on Sunday. This is not the game I expected to see the Seattle Seahawks having a better record than Miami. I will say that. But given the circumstances, and I want to give my prayers to Tua for the ugly concussion that happened on Thursday night, and you hate to see it for the guy. He said he's not going to retire, but he was placed on IR, so he's out at least 4 games, meaning for now, Skylar Thompson is the guy. And for that reason, I'm going to go Seattle to beat Miami, especially because they've looked like a really good team this year. Beat Denver pretty easily their first game. It took till overtime last week against New England, but Geno Smith just looks really solid right now. Jackson Smith and Jigba finally getting involved last week. Love to see that. But I'm gonna go Seattle to go 3-0. Another team I am surprised that could start 3-0.
yeah. I like it. I can go. You can go.
go for it.
I've been impressed by Seattle. I wrote them off a bit this year. They didn't write back. They are better than I expect them to be. And I think we have to reorganize that division a little bit. I think it is going to be most likely 49ers, yeah. And then I could go either way with Cardinals or Seahawks, and with the Rams and their injuries, I don't see how they escape the basement this year. Maybe, but Sean McVay is not naturally opposed to having a down year. He did it when they had Baker Mayfield. They went 5-12 and Stafford was out. I could see a similar type of year for them. So that just says something about the Seahawks. I am impressed with them so far. Their defense looks really good. And Geno Smith was moving the ball really well last game against what I know is a good Patriots defense. He was slicing us up. And he looked calm. He looked like he knew where he wanted to put the ball, and he knew that he could put it where nobody else could get it. So, Tua out is one thing. Obviously, I don't know what could be said about Tua that hasn't already been said. I just hope for the best for him, and it's sad seeing him continue to be getting into dangerous situations with his body and his head yet again. It's not fun to see as a fan of any team. That aside, I would be picking the Seahawks in a game if they still had Tua healthy, and they don't. So I'm just going with the Seahawks. They've impressed me.
All right.
Yeah, we're gonna have a clean sweep here. Going Seattle.
Yeah, I think that's
Basically for all the reasons you guys just said. So
all right.
my bad. There we
You're
go.
good. All right. Panthers are going to Las Vegas, their first ever trip to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. And this is interesting Because we know what happened on Monday. It was announced by head coach Dave Canales that 2023 number one overall pick Bryce Young has been benched, and veteran Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, will be the starting quarterback for the time being. I like that our coach Canales said that he is not closing the book on Bryce Young. In fact, the Panthers' bye is not until week 11 this year. So I would not close the book on Bryce Young being back as the starter before the bye even happens. Maybe after the bye, we'll see. I get Bryce's frustration right now. I get the fan base's frustration to see all these reports about it, but regardless of what anybody thinks, I think it's best for the team. Maybe right now it looks more like an experiment than a benching because we want to see if it was really all Bryce making this offense look bad or if it's just a whole team being bad thing. And I want to remind you, last year, Andy Dalton threw for 361 yards in his only start, given that was a loss. And I do think it will be a loss again this week. I think the Raiders will win this game, especially because they can, for some reason, beat Baltimore in Baltimore. But I will say this. I think the Panthers offense, what am I trying to say here, will look better with Andy Dalton, but I don't think it's going to change anything. I still think we're one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the league. And I don't think we're going to get too many wins or any wins for that matter. So I am going Vegas, but I'm just looking for better play, period, from everybody. And that starts with Dalton, hopefully.
Luke.
Yeah, I unfortunately agree. I would have thought about it 1 week ago today, but the Raiders' impressive win against Baltimore. Good for their head coach, good for Gardner Minshew, good for all those guys. And in Vegas, even though Vegas has been known to be a second home game for quite a few teams, the Panthers don't really have that power, I don't think. It's nothing like that is going to be enough. I am intrigued by Andy Dalton. Adam, you covered it well. But I'm going Vegas this week.
Yeah, sorry, Adam. This is my lock of the week. I'm going with the Raiders.
That's all right.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I hate to do it.
Lock too, Luke?
What'd you say?
Is that your lock as well, Luke?
That's a good call. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I almost forgot about lock of the week. I'm gonna make it that. We'll see. Maybe Andy Dalton can surprise me, but I'm just not sure.
That's fair.
Yep.
All right, now for my other team, my San Francisco 49ers travel to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. And this would have been my lock of the week if I did not choose Tampa to be my lock. But I think looking back on it, Tampa was a better choice because the 49ers just looked sloppy last week. They only lost by a touchdown, but Brock Purdy just didn't look like he had his best game. Of course, McCaffrey being on IR doesn't help, given Jordan Mason is still giving them some good production. But it still doesn't help. And I think this week is another good get back week for the Niners, given the Rams injury situation. You still hate to see it. Puka Nakua's on IR. Cooper Kupp's on IR. It's looking like Demarcus Robinson is going to be wide receiver one there for the time being. Just a rough start to the year for the Rams. But I think this is where the 49ers can get back on track and go to 2-1 on the season and move even closer to getting that division lead back from the Seahawks.
Cool.
Yeah. What do you think, Dante?
I'm going San Fran.
Yeah.
Yeah, mainly because, Coop and Puka both on IR, which is devastating for the Rams. Two of the best probably one of the best wide receiver duos in the league when healthy. Um, yeah, that hurts, especially whenever you have to face a defense like San Francisco's. And yeah, it pains me, but I'm going with the Niners.
So am I. Injuries suck. I don't want to be a selfish fantasy owner, but injuries really suck. I had Cooper Kupp in the 4th and 5th round of multiple leagues, man. And that was looking like the best pick in every draft. And it's all out the window. Oh well. But I also, in a lot of my leagues, picked up Jordan Whittington right after the draft when nobody was looking. And so, as a fantasy guy, which I claim to be, even though I'm 0-2 in most of my leagues, it'll be
Same.
very interesting seeing who gets the targets. Will it be some random tight end? Will it be Jordan Whittington? Will it be whoever else they got? Will it just be a lot of Kyron Williams? I don't know. That's intriguing to me, but it might not be a good sample size against this 49er defense who is looking to get back on track. And I'm sure they will. Another thing, LA can be a B stadium to a lot of these teams, and the 49ers might take claim to that. So I'm pretty easily going to 49ers here.
Good.
All right. We have Detroit and Arizona now. In Arizona, and this is another tough game. But I know who I'm going to go with if you guys need some time to think about it. I guess I'll start. I was thinking about this game a lot. The Cardinals' offense looked very, very good last week. I apologize, Arizona. I was not familiar with your game. Detroit, I did call that upset of the week last week, but I don't think that game tells the whole story for the Lions. I saw Dan Campbell apologizing after the game. I'm not sure why. He was admitting they lost the game and it was on him, I guess. This one was tough. I'm not gonna lie, it really is. But my gut is telling me that it's going to be a really close game, but Detroit is going to get back on track and the Lions are going to get a win. That's what I'm thinking.
All right.
Okay. Now, do I take the Cardinals? Because I was right last week, and they looked damn good last week. They looked really good last week. Now, do I take them here? I do. Why not? Against the Lions at home, though. Kyler Murray, excellent last week. Marvin Harrison Jr., 2 touchdowns last week. Trey McBride got involved last week. James Conner just as involved last week. Impressive. And I know it was just the Rams and the Lions beat the Rams, but they steamrolled them. And the same thing won't happen here. It should be a really good game. But for all I can tell, that Cardinal defense might just be a little bit too much. If they can stop Aiden Hutchinson, that is, which nobody's been able to do. But this is gonna be a good game. I'm gonna watch this one if I can. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
I certainly hope I watch it.
Cool. Yeah, this is upset of the week going Arizona. Even
Wow.
if that's even seen as an upset, I'm not sure. I guess it is. I guess it would.
I'd probably say so.
Yeah, but I'm going Arizona. Yeah, you can't. I don't know. You can't ignore what they did last week, which is ironic. I'm saying that because I took New Orleans after doing what they did for 2 straight weeks.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
I took Philly against New Orleans. You get what I mean? Um, but yeah, I'm going Arizona here. I love Marvin Harrison. I like Kyler Murray. Um, their defense does scare me a little bit, especially against a good Lions offense. But if they can replicate what they did last week, I don't see them losing this game. So yeah, Arizona.
All right, great.
So am I the lone person going Detroit here?
Seems
Yep.
like it.
Okay. All right. This is an interesting close to the 4 p.m. window because I feel like these two teams have been underperforming either the whole season or as of late. It feels weird talking about these two teams right now because Dallas looked so good in week 1, but then last week just embarrassing. And then you have the Ravens who are 0-2. It's crazy. What do you guys think? I'll let you guys start.
I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Baltimore Ravens are going to be 0-3. Give me Dallas. I think what Dallas did last week was a fluke. They played one of the best defenses in football on the road in week 1 and blew them out. And the Ravens are struggling right now and just lost to the Raiders in Gardner Minshew at home. I don't know what would make me pick them at one of the most hostile environments in all of football against one of the best teams in all of football. Give me Dallas. maybe that's biased, but
I don't think so. I think you're onto something. I don't think the Cowboys' loss says a lot about them because they are one of those teams. They either beat a team by 30 or they lose by 30. It's very odd. It's just the Cowboy way.
yeah.
And I got them this week. I do. The Ravens, they're gonna have to figure it out, but they have not looked great. And the Cowboys, I trust them. I'm willing to go out on that limb, even though they lost last week. We'll see.
All right. I am not gonna lie. I was considering going Baltimore, but you guys convinced me. We're gonna clean sweep this, and I'm gonna go with the Cowboys.
Wow.
I don't know what's going on with the Ravens. Just doesn't look good for them. Is John Harbaugh a candidate to be fired?
I don't know about that.
I don't know. Maybe. I need
Hmm.
that marker actually.
That would be insane.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Anyways, let's go on. Sunday night football here. The Chiefs and the Falcons. Hate seeing the Falcons get so many primetime games, man. But I guess when you get Kirk, you you get better games. But this is where I really think primetime Kirk is going to kick in. Talk about flukes. I'm going to try this again. Okay. Last week was a fluke. All right. The Eagles, I, I don't know what to say, but come on. All you had to do is hand the ball off to Saquon, and you would have won the game. But nope, you had to throw the ball. But this week, I don't think the Falcons will get away with dumb mistakes because the Chiefs don't make dumb mistakes. The Chiefs are probably the smartest team in football, and they're going to march right into Atlanta and get an easy victory Sunday night. I don't think there's going to be any problem for them. I think the Chiefs will go to 3-0, which is crazy considering last year the Chiefs had the regular season struggles, and so far this year it doesn't look like any of that.
Yeah. I can just go because I agree. I think this could be one of those weird games that the Chiefs always lose a weird game or two, but I don't think it's gonna be I don't think it's gonna be this. Kirk Cousins looked good on that final drive the other night, but he did not do anything inspiring the rest of the entire night. So maybe because it's in Atlanta, but I don't think that's that big of an advantage. So I'm gonna go the Chiefs.
Yeah, clean sweep here. Not much to say. The Chiefs
Yeah.
are just the best team in football, and they've been playing like it. So Kansas
Yeah.
City.
Yep.
All right, on to Monday night. This week we've got a Monday night double header. I guess starting that again. But the
Yeah.
first thing we have is Jacksonville and Buffalo. And talk about a team, we were talking about the Ravens a few minutes ago. Talk about a team that has just looked flat out bad to start the season. What is going on in Jacksonville?
Doug Peterson could get fired, I think.
I was going to say, I know what I said about John Harbaugh, but that's actually a real possibility, I think. But I'm not going to waste any time. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, we all predicted the Bills to win the AFC East, right?
Yes.
So,
Well, I was just gonna say me, but then I remembered you guys did. WG knows ball, by the way. I want to put that back out
We
there.
do.
A lot of people were picking the Jets to win that division this year. But anyways, so far nothing has changed. Buffalo has been the best team in that division. I think they're gonna keep it up this week. They look fine. Looks like nothing has changed. It looks like they're completely fine without Stephon Diggs. But to me, this is just an easy win for them. They'll go to 3-0.
What do you think, Dante?
uh, all I know is I'm going to be tuned into the Gabe Davis Bowl. Cannot wait. Um, I'm going to go with the Bills. Highmark Stadium, Orchard Park, such a tough place to play. And like Adam said, the Jaguars are struggling and the Bills are thriving. So I have no reason, no valid reason, no logical reason to pick the Jaguars here. I'll go with Buffalo.
I have no reason whatsoever either to go to the Jags. I'm going Buffalo. I didn't think they were going to look quite as good as they look. I think I said it last week. It's time for me to start giving Josh Allen some flowers. He could easily win MVP, I think, this year. Easily. If he controls his turnovers, which here's a fact for you. There are two teams in the NFL who are 2-0. with 0 turnovers. They are the Bills and the Steelers. Josh Allen has been impressive. I think I knew he was going to be fine because I remember those last few weeks of last season, including the playoffs. They did not throw to Stephon Diggs all that much, and they were fine. I mean, they looked just as good throwing to Shakir. Yeah. They look just fine throwing to him most of the time. I think they will be fine. I think they are fine. I think they're a really good football team. And something is brewing in Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence has not won a football game since last Thanksgiving. Not going great. And as a not avid, but part-time Trevor Lawrence hater, it's kind of a pretty delicious thing. But I am going the Bills.
You hate both of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, I hope neither team has fun, but I know who I'm picking.
Valid.
I will say, to quote one of the craziest villains in Marvel history, Thanos, Josh Allen has embraced the "fine, I'll do it myself" era of his career.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they do have James Cook. What am I saying?
Yeah, James Cook. Wow, he looks good last week.
Who would have thought James Cook would end up being better than his brother at some point in his career?
I wouldn't have thought his brother would ever be like fighting to stay out of the UFL.
Right. Literally did.
Basically. I don't even think he might be on a practice squad. I don't know. Why do I feel like he's in
He's
like
with Dallas. I forget.
Dallas? Oh, that's right. That's right.
No.
Dude, if you
Yeah,
would have told me
still.
you would have told me in like 2019 that Dallas's backfield would be Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott, I would have been like, they're winning the Super Bowl. But now it's like they're kind of mid.
Yeah.
Speaking of mid, let's go to this final game here to finish off the week. I don't know if I'm speaking for all NFL fans. Why is this game on Monday Night Football?
I was about to say.
Who's going to watch this game?
I don't know. I can see the reason if you're looking at the context of the offseason, but still, yeah.
Battle of the LSU quarterbacks, I guess. Cincinnati is doing the thing again where they start bad, but then it all comes together for some reason. And they're currently in the step where it's about to all come together. They have the Commanders on Monday night, and then they have the Carolina Panthers the following week. Bengals are getting their first win Monday night. Give me Cincy.
Yeah, I'll agree. Cincinnati for sure.
I'm going to agree as well. I don't think it's for sure for me, but the Bengals are about to go into that step into the right direction phase. I agree with you, Adam.
All right. Luke, did you do your on the fly?
Yeah, I do. I do have my stardom sit 'em, which I may or may not have done during the episode, but
It's okay.
it's done. Dante, did you have a bold prediction first?
Oh shit. My bad. No, I didn't. Just pass. I got it.
Okay, stardom sit 'em. Yeah, I kind of did it on the fly here, but you could trust me. Let's review how we did last week first. I went what I would consider 8-4. I said start Jaden Daniels. He only had like 13 points, so that's kind of an L. I said sit Tua. We are not going to talk about his injury as much as we all absolutely hate to see it. Right now, we were looking at what happened before the injury, and he threw 3 picks. He had 5.5 points, so yeah, it was a good call to sit him. I also said pick up Baker Mayfield. He had another good week. And running backs, I said, why did I put that as like a bad pick? That's a good pick. Baker Mayfield, he had another great week. Still QB1 in the NFL as far as fantasy goes, which is crazy. Running backs, I said start J.K. Dobbins. He had a fantastic week. I think he's still running back 1 in the league. Actually, no, probably Alvin Kamara. But he had a fantastic week. I said sit Isaiah Pacheco. That was kind of an L. He had 16 points, although he is hurt now. And I said pick up Alexander Madison because the Raiders seemed to love him. He still had more points than Zamir White. He only had 6 points though, so that's kind of an L. I said start CeeDee Lamb. He had 19 points. That was good. I said sit Xavier Worthy. He only had 4 points, so that was a big win. And I said pick up Brian Thomas Jr. He had 11 points. I think Trevor threw him another touchdown. So pay attention to that connection. And I said start Trey McBride at tight end. He had like 19 points. That's great. I said sit Kyle Pitts, even though he scored a touchdown week 1 and he only had 5 points. So I hope he listened to me. And I said pick up Isaiah Likely just in case he had that increased workload, but he didn't. He only had like 4 points. So do that what you will. For this week, I am going to say start Derek Carr until proven otherwise. Against Philly, look, he looked better against Dallas. We'll see. I think ride the hot hand there. I would sit Aaron Rodgers this week against Patriots. He's still kind of getting warmed up. He's not going to be a great fantasy option either way. And our defense has been decent as far as containing big scoring plays. And pick up Derek Carr. He's only rostered in half the leagues, but before this week, he was rostered in like no leagues. So I would pick him up now. Running back, you could start Ramondre Stevenson against the Jets. He's had a great game again in a loss. And right now he's looking like the Patriots' only plan in the red zone. So I would pick him up, or I would start him this week. I would sit Austin Eckler versus the Bengals. I know Austin Eckler in 2024, obviously, but he's actually had a decent start to the year. Like it would make sense if you started him as flex, but I'm just not buying into it that much. The Bengals have been decent on defense. They're about to get better, I think. They're just going to improve. And for the waiver wire, pick up Zach Charbonnet because while they don't have Kenneth Walker, the Seahawks are using the heck out of him. I saw it firsthand this week. They love using him, so I would pick him up for now. Wide receiver, I'm going to claim another possibly easy one. Start Jamar Chase. He was probably everybody's first round pick, so you're starting him anyways, but he's not been very good so far. But again, I think the Bengals are going to start turning things around like now. So I would start him this week. What's the worst that can happen? I would sit Jalen Waddle. I mean, absolutely. With no Tua against the Seattle defense, I would absolutely sit him. And I would pick up Rashid Shaheed, who Derek Carr seems to love. He averages almost 19 points. He's only rostered in like 81% of leagues. And as far as tight end goes, start Brock Bowers. He has, I think, the most catches in the NFL, or he's tied for it. So he's looking fantastic this year against Carolina. I would sit Dalton Kincaid of the Bills against Jacksonville. Maybe I'll be wrong. Tight ends are always 50-50 to find the end zone, but so far it looks like he has no spot in the Bills offense. And lastly, I would pick up from the Rams, Colby Parkinson. If you've never heard of him, neither have I, but off the sheer fact that Kupp and Puka are now out, I'd also pick up Jordan Whittington, their wide receiver. You can wait a week, see who gets the targets. That's not a bad idea, but then you got to rush to the waiver wire and hope you get it. So I would pay close attention to the Rams. That's what I'll say. That's
Cool.
my advice.
Luke, I do have a fantasy question for you because I'm at quite a dilemma here.
Yeah.
At my flex, do I start Devontae Smith or is that his name? Devontae Smith? Am I saying the right?
Eagles wide receiver.
Yeah, that's his name. My bad.
Yeah,
Devontae Smith
that's
or or you'll see why I thought I was messing up. Devontae Smith or Devontae Adams. Who should I start at my flex?
Adams against Carolina.
I was thinking the same thing.
Sorry, Adam.
No, I agree.
I could be wrong about that, especially if AJ Brown is out again. If AJ Brown is out again, Devonta Smith would be safe. Against the Saints, I would be more confident in Devontae Adams, who had a good week.
Fair word. And you know what's funny, Luke? In one of my leagues, I have Kincaid and Brock Bowers. So you help me out there.
Well, I'm telling you who to start. So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I still got to get some of my teams out of the gutter too. So I'm not exceptionally reliable, but I do my best.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that does it.
I think that does it.
Good week.
Yeah. Very good week. Go Steelers. Go Pats. Go Panthers.
That's against the
Andy
Jets.
Dalton, please look competent.
Yeah, I think he will.
Let's go.
All right. Who are your guys? Adam.
Dante.
And Luke.
I like that hair drop, Luke.
All right. See you next week.
Peace out.